the person who claimed to be my mother's friend, who was supposed to look after me. Yeah, no. If you read my book, she tried to pimp me out to the highest bidder. And then I realized, you know what? No longer will I take other people's words as any sort of confidence in them. I looked at their actions.
Welcome to Publish and Promote Guest Spotlight. This is your host, Dawn James, Managing Director of Publish and Promote. From time to time, we interview authors and publishing industry professionals. Since 2010, Publish and Promote has been honored to serve, educate, and inspire self-published authors. I invite you to view our publishing services, promotion and book marketing services, as well as courses, events, and writers' retreats at www.publishandpromote.ca. We have a special guest today. I'm pleased to introduce Samantha White, author of the new book, How I Forced Pandora's Box Shut. I want to share a brief backstory about Samantha's journey to become a writer. After several months of a transformative concoction of holistic therapy, a 3-month vegan diet, spiritual cleansing, and mental healing, Samantha experienced an out-of-body moment. In that moment, she saw herself, a vision. She was sitting down writing, signing books, and she was in awe of this vision. Samantha questioned it at first. She knew nothing about book writing, book promotion, but there she was in this vision, signing books. This endeavor would be a completely new beast, and she didn't know the strategy to successfully manage it. Samantha was overwhelmed by what she saw, and the only person she mentioned it to was her pastor, who had performed a spiritual cleansing. Upon completion of her last therapy, in January 2021, Samantha accepted her vision and purpose of writing. Years of suppressed memories that she had avoided came rushing back. Many nights she was awoken with overflowing ideas. And this is how her journey of becoming a writer began. Please join me in welcoming Samantha to our Publish and Promote Guest Spotlight. Hello, how are you?
Hello. I am doing well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm so glad you were able to join us today. And how is the life of an author?
Busy, but I feel like I'm not as busy as I had expected. But I'm just taking each moment as it comes.
Absolutely. Well, I know your book was recently published, and based on what I've seen online, you're going to get busier. Absolutely. So, Samantha, I know the title alone, so intriguing. Can you tell us where that title came from first before we jump into how you became a writer? What is it that made this the title you chose for the book?
I just thought that, at sometimes while I was going through all of the different events that had occurred and that I put in the book, I always thought that there were curses. And, being Jamaican, we always say, oh, all of these crosses, which is basically, slang for curses, happening to me. Why me? And I used to, as I was going through it, I used to say, why me? What have I done to deserve all of this? And at the age of, I think, 26, I realized after watching a few sermons online that everything that had happened to me for a reason. And I thought, okay, so, I didn't deserve any of this, because I know within myself that I'm a good person. And everybody who has come across me can say that I am a good person. So, okay, if I haven't done anything bad, why are all of these curses, bad luck, bad events happening to me? And I finally accepted it, that, you know what, it happened to me and it happened for me to break me out of this mental barrier that I found myself in. because I already had so much aspirations of, the person that I wanted to be, but then all of that was taken away from me. And you can actually see it in the book, with one phone call from my mother. And I was like, okay, but and I've always had this idea. My grandma who raised me said that, the bad things that parents do always fall on the shoulders of their children. And I had to have grace for my mom and my father as well, that okay, they weren't the parents that I wanted them to be. But from listening to one service, I can't remember what it was that Pastor TJ Jake said, you have to accept, and also Ianla, you have to accept that your parents did the best with the knowledge that they had at the time. So you have to have grace for them. Accept that they did the best that they could with information that they had at the time, and move on. Take
Yes.
away what you can take from it,
Yes.
and move on.
I hear
And
you.
so that's basically what I had to do. And I'm telling you, 2020 did a number on me, physically, but most importantly, mentally.
Yes, yes. So I guess from the, in the moment that you had all these challenges, and as you said, you call them curses, just a series of ongoing trauma and challenges, which you eloquently describe in the book, hence the Pandora, because we think of Pandora as, if you open that, better watch out. You better watch out.
Exactly.
But what I love about your book title is you were able to shut that lid, if you will, and quite so literally you've described in the imagery in your book. So let's dive in. Well, I want to dive right in. What inspired you to write this memoir? What inspired you, Samantha?
Ooh. Acceptance, in one word, acceptance. Being an immigrant and feeling as though I didn't feel that I was British. And I mean, it's very obvious and very evident wherever I went. And then returning back to Jamaica the first time after 8 years of living in the UK, I was also told, you're not Jamaican either. So I was like, okay, if I'm not Jamaican and I'm not British, well, what am I? And once I decided, you know what, I'm everything. I'm both Jamaican as well as I've lived here long enough, and it's shaped my mindset that I'm both Jamaican and I'm both British in the sense, and also legally. And I wanted to embrace my story, and I felt that, not telling people who I am, I was hiding parts of me. And not being able to accept all of me was preventing me from moving forward. It was a mental barrier that was preventing me from stepping into my true purpose. And I've always said a long time ago that God wouldn't allow me to go through all of this without a reason and a purpose coming through it. And a lot of people see me and they're like, I inspire them. But I'm like, do you know how hard it is to not have someone, an exact person that I can say, okay, you motivate me. And I know that's another question that's coming up, so I don't want to spend too much on it. But so over the course of undergoing therapy, especially in 2020, and the therapist saying to me, give yourself grace, because life will happen to you. And another thing that I learned from Miss Ayanla is life is, or just success is 5% of what happened to you, but also 95% of how you look at it. What do you take away from it? And my therapist made me realize that I needed to give myself grace, and I struggled to do so. But once I accepted it, I was able to do things that I never envisioned that I would be able to. And I thought, you know what, there's no point saying, okay, I'm British or I'm Jamaican. No, I'm all of it. And I embrace it in everything that I do now. And I'm no longer going to hide that, okay, I don't speak with the accent, or I don't have a particular background. No, I'm going to embrace it because my journey has made me the person that I am. And so, yeah, that's the most important reason. Embracing who you are, that allowed me to put those events down on paper.
Amazing. And so the first thing I remember you said was this phenomenal feeling of self-acceptance. You know, it's not I am Jamaican, I am British. No, I am Samantha. This is me. I am that I am, right? Quite
Yes.
literally. So acceptance goes a long way. I know many of our writers or people listening in, what holds a lot of people back from sharing their story is fear of, well, fear of exposure. I'm putting it out there, fear of rejection. Um, Even some people are concerned how other relatives may take that story that they're sharing. So a lot of people have to overcome fear. But I think what I heard you say is by accepting who you were and not having a victim mentality, shifting to, wait a minute, you know, it's kind of like, you know, you take a piece of coal and with enough pressure over time, it becomes a diamond, right?
Exactly.
So understanding that at the true core of your being, it's actually, there's a diamond in there. So it's just a matter to get your mindset on that gem of who you are. And I just love your fearlessness now. You're saying, hey, I'm coming out, here I am. It sounds like the journey of writing was very liberating for you, Samantha.
Yes, it was. It was. And I mean, don't get it twisted. There are actually a few people that are not speaking to me now, but I didn't lie. I told the truth. So however you receive that, it's a reflection on you and not me. I have completely liberated myself.
I
I
can
am
see that.
now an eagle soaring, and I am this year, which is this from the start of my birthday last week. I've decided I'm saying yes to everything. I am feeling the fear, whatever fear that is, and I'm going anyway, and I will learn through it.
I love it. Just love that fearless attitude you have.
Hmm.
Now, I know in putting this book together, you chose a very specific timeline for this memoir. It's not a full autobiography, it's a memoir.
Yeah.
Can you give just a highlight? Because you know, a lot of people will hear that short period of time, what all of the things that happened to you, and they'll be like, oh my God, how did you make it to this? Can you just give us a brief synopsis of what age range does this book cover? And just a little synopsis of some of the challenges that you faced during these sensitive years. Can you give our
Hmm.
listeners a little inkling?
Yeah, well, it happened to me between 16 and 26 years old. um so many things happen, and I'm telling you, many a nights I cried. Crying is everything. I bawled my eyes out many of nights, but the thing that kept me going was knowing that had any of my cousins or family members were in my shoe, they would do what I'm doing. And what kept me going was also overcoming statistics. My mom had me when she was 16, and all my family members within that, which within my all my mother's siblings all and left school with no education. And I did not want that to be my story. And I kept going, knowing that I did not want to be a statistic. And I kept going. So yes, I cried, but I prayed, and my faith also carried me a lot. And and the reason for that is because I had nobody else that I could rely on.